the sound of North Carolina. Like everywhere you go where there's trees, you hear this sound. And here is the palace that we are going to tour. It's a huge property. Now, if you notice the architect of it, when we get inside, it was rebuilt because of a fire, but just the whole symmetrical of this building is amazing. Now, I couldn't record while she was talking, so you won't get all of the guided tour as I did. But I'm going to go room for room, videotape what I can, just to show you so that you can experience what I experienced when I was in Bern, North Carolina. And if you notice the windows, how thick they are, because the building is made of brick. It's so thick, like you can sit in every window. And considering there's a lot of tornadoes, it's right on the port or harbor or whatever you would call it. So I'm sure the tornadoes or cyclones, whatever it is that they have over there, are pretty intense. So needing to cover up those windows is a must for that weather. The one thing I did notice is every room did have a fireplace, but there was no air conditioning, there were no bathrooms, there was no running water to say, so there's actually no sewer. This is just, this room right here is like the butler's finishing touches room. So once the food gets up, it goes into that room and then the butler will give it its okay. If the butler didn't care for the food, he would send it back. Remember, this is a congressman. A lot of congressmen over North Carolina lived here and they had meetings here, they conducted business, and then the family all lived upstairs. Stairs are massive, stairs are beautiful. Very noisy, but it's open. It's beautiful. You see the arrow? I toured it during the day because it was probably haunted. But you see this little arrow right there that I was showing? That's actually the bedside table, and the bedside table was where they would wash up, and also the bottom drawer would open up, and that was where they would use the toilet basically. And that bedside table right there, which is kind of what we do in our vans, those of us that live the van life. And this would be the guest room, or if they had children, this would be the children's room. They had this one actually had a walk-in closet. This would be the room where the ladies would dress, and you see all their clothes spread out over the bed, including their hips and butts. Again, this is going to be another room where they can enjoy tea or have some snack or whatever. And the men's clothing is on that bed. Again, the bedside table, that's the toilet, and also the bucket to clean up with. Now you'll notice these buckets that are hanging on the walls. These buckets were used as to put out a fire. So they would pass the bucket all the way up or pass the bucket all the way, to where the fire is. So it would go one hand to one other hand to another hand until it got to the fire. And then they drop it down and do the same thing. And where we're going now is to, I guess, where the hired help would be. And that's in the basement. The stairs here are very narrow, so only the help would use these stairs. The massive stairs was everyone that lived in the house. But this would be just where the help would go. Now this is where the maid and the butler would stay. I bet these walls may have some stories of what went on down there, little shenanigans, because we got some food here, like final touches. One of the rooms is like final touches of food, like, cheese or just the added on stuff that they would put on the plates. And then you'd have the other room, which would be, the wine, the coffee, the tea, or whatnot. So if you called the butler and said you wanted tea, he would come down, get your tea, and take it up to you. And where's the kitchen? The kitchen is in a totally different building. and we're going to walk over there in a second. But here's one of the rooms where the butler or the maid would sleep, so that they would be available 24 hours. Now this is a walkover from the basement. We took stairs up and we're walking over to, this is the kitchen. So the food would be all cooked in this building and then walked over to the basement of the other building. They would do some final touches, and then the butler would take it up to another room, add some probably finesse to it before it was served to everyone. Again, they didn't allow for recording while they were speaking, so I was doing it very discreetly. So I have to do what I gotta do just to show you the different way that people lived back in the colonial times. How would we even be able to survive today?
Finely chopped leeks in butter. This is the servants' quarters, yeah, but.
You think that goes all the way to the water, or to that last street, huh?